Today, 4 simple things I use to get organized, and you should too. All right, guys, today we want to talk about some very simple things that I use to stay organized. Here it is, 2022. It's January. It's time for a new year, a new start. It's time to be more effective, to be more organized, and to be more planned in what we're going to do. Ministry is a super fun thing. Ministry is something that drives us, pushes us, and controls our thoughts and intentions as pastors, preachers, ministers, those that are in full-time ministry, those that are in part-time ministry, those who desire to be in ministry, those who work in churches. Man, ministry drives us. But I want to say this, organized and being organized will help you accomplish more than you ever thought possible. So many times we waste time and we don't accomplish exactly what God wants us to do because we do not stay organized. And so today, let's get through 4 things I use to get organized. They're simple, they're cheap, and they're available. And so these are the 4 things that I want to bring to you today. Now, listen, I use these things because they're simple. I'm a middle-aged guy. I don't want to learn brand new things. I'm not trying to be complex. I want organized things that are efficient and things that when I use them, man, stuff gets done. The first thing I use, and I believe every person should use, particularly if you're trying to get organized, is an app on the iPhone called Reminders. It's a Reminders app. It's an app that comes out. I'll be showing you some screenshots as we go through this to show you how this works. It's very simple. It's a Reminders app. You can set up a list for anything you want to, a shopping list, a list for people to check on, a prayer list. You can get literally any kind of list. You can title it any way you want, and then you can set reminders. And these reminders are can be very general. You can say, "Hey, I need to go to the store." You can put that on there. You can put in there, "Remind me to go to the store tomorrow." But then you can also be very specific, like "Remind me tomorrow at 3:00. It's very simple. You will just go in there, you will type this in, and if you use Siri on your iPhone, you can say, "Hey Siri, remind me tomorrow at 11 to do X," and it will put it in there for you. And then these reminders will help you to quit forgetting to do something. Nothing makes us look worse than when someone asks us to do something, we agree to do it, but yet we then fail to do it. And so Reminders app is very, very simple. It is a way for me to be able to remember. So here's a great practice. Put things in your Reminder app all day long. At the end of the day, before you kind of get done for the day, open it up, see where you're at, see what you have to do for tomorrow. And then when you get up first thing in the morning, you get in your office, you get in your car, you get whatever you're doing. When you get ready to start work, you open that Reminders app and everything that you need to remember is right there, and you can do that. And so the Reminders app is cheap. It's free. It comes with your iPhone. You can download it from your app store. It is super, super helpful, and it is amazing. Number two, the second thing I use is the Notes app. Now, I use the Apple Notes app. Some people use all types of apps. There are a million super Notes apps on the App Store, even in the Google Store. There's apps that work over all platforms. I simply use the Notes app. Now, I believe every person should have a Notes app of some sort on their phone. And here's why. It is important for us to remember things. And the Notes app is so important because the notes actually help us to take notes. You ever have that thought come to you and you're like, man, that's good. I need to remember that. And then you go 15 minutes, you find a piece of paper, maybe you find a pen, and all of a sudden it's gone. You've already forgotten it and you can't remember it. Well, the Notes app keeps that from happening to us. What it does for us is we're able to, the minute something crosses your mind, you throw it in your Notes app and it's there forever, and you can always come back later and check on it. Some of these notes that I create all the time, I end up looking at them at the end of the week and thinking, don't even know why I kept that, don't even know why I thought that was a great idea, and I erase half of them. But there's so many times that I look on there and go, man, I forgot all about that. I'm so glad that I put that down. And so the Notes app is something that I can record thoughts. It's something that I can record intentions. It's something that I can record just things that are bouncing around inside of my head. And it's a great way to do that. And so writing something down is very important, but the Notes app is a great way to do that. When I was policing in a different lifetime, I used to be a police officer. And when I very first started policing, we used a notepad and a pen for everything. We didn't have computers. We didn't write our reports in computers. And so we had notepads. You were literally issued ink pens and notepads to carry with you. And I'll never forget, one of my field training officer told me, a guy who was training me in the very beginning, he says, Matt, remember this, that the palest ink is better than the best memory. And I remembered that clearly. I remember him saying that, and it stood out to me all these years. And so when something comes to your mind, you better jot it down. And today, in society that we live in today, we always have our phone with us. We always have our phone within arm's reach of us. Why not put a notes app on there and then grab that thing, put the note down, write what you want to write down, and then move on and be able to remember it. And so I want to encourage every person out there, get you a notes app. So number one was what? The Reminders app. The Reminders app helps me so much to remember things that I would forget. Number two, the Notes app. The Notes app is where I can just drop anything. I can put sermon ideas. I can put down quotes that I hear. I can write down anything I want in a Notes app, and it just sits there until the next time I want to go back and see it. And so it's very, very important to do. Now, the third thing that I use is the calendar app. I use a calendar app. Now, I use the iCal calendar app, and it is how I keep my calendar. I put my things in the calendar. I put in church events. I do all those things. Now, I know there are just a ton of apps out there that are calendar apps. I believe every person should use one. And so the calendar app is very efficient. It's very easy. You jot down everything that you want to put a date in there. It's very easy for your church to put together their whole calendar for the year. You can put all those things in there. Staff can share them. You can see them. I mean, it's really awesome. Me and my wife have a personal calendar that we share. And so I put down anytime I say yes in the calendar app, and she puts down anytime she says yes in the calendars app, so that we don't double book and one of us have to go to somebody and say, hey, sorry, we can't do that. We've already booked. And so we share an app, a calendar in our calendar app. And I encourage all of you to download some sort of calendar app. You need one. Use your phone, use your iPad, use your computer, whatever it is that you have a calendar app on. Use that, put things in. It's a wonderful, awesome way to stay organized, because time is important and you don't want it to slip away. The other part about a calendar app that's so awesome is that you can look over it. You can look over the month, what you have planned. You can look over the week, what you have planned. And then you can look over the year and say, hey, this is what I have planned. And so you know what's going on and you can get this great overview. Now, with the calendar app in mind, the fourth thing that I use, and this is going to sound kind of repetitive, but it's something that I do, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I really, really, really enjoy. It's something that I really do a lot, and it's something that I just enjoy it, and it also helps me stay organized. Now, I just told you that I use a calendar app. Now, the calendar app is super awesome. It helps me stay organized when I have to put things in and share events across different platforms. And then my phone will remind me and my iPad will remind me of what I have coming up. But there's a second thing that I use, which is called a bullet journal. Now, I use a bullet journal in my life. Now, if you don't know what a bullet journal is, of course, it's simple. You can go online, you can look them up, it's their art form. Bullet journals can be as elaborate as you want them to be, or as simple as mine. And my bullet journal is very, very simple. And so I use one, I create it myself. Basically, you need a notebook and you need an ink pen or a pencil that you enjoy using. And then you set up your own layout. You put it in any way that works for you. And I'm going to show you some examples of how I use mine. Now, you don't have to have elaborate, exciting, different, or expensive notebooks. You don't have to have that. I'm going to show you exactly what I use here now. And then I'm going to show you some screenshots as well so that you can see them. So in my journal, my bullet journal is very simple. I use some of the journals that we have here at our church. Here at our church, we print off these journals. They are logoed for us. They have our logo on them. And basically, they're just a blank notebook with blank paper. You can see that nothing super special about it. There are certain pens that I enjoy using, but it's very simple. I'm going to show you what I do is I basically break down and draw out my week calendar. I put in a week calendar. I draw it out myself. I put the day of the week, the day of the month, and I do this in these sections, and I have a week at a glance. Now, as I do these things, and I want to show you all my private things in here at the front of this journal, because it's the new year, I have my yearly goals laid out. I have things that I want to accomplish both professionally and personally. And then throughout this week, throughout this journal, I will do things like lay out the months as well. And it's a very good way for me to stay organized. And so in the evening, every night, I look through my journal and I see what I need to do, and then I jot down thoughts and things that come to mind, things that I like. Doodling and writing and drawing and kind of spelling out and writing out things helps me. It's just part of what I do. And so the bullet journal, although it's a calendar as well, it's much more than a calendar. It's a way of organizing my life. I can write down goals like drink more water, take my vitamins, eat healthier, exercise, work out. I can put all these things in here and check them off as I get them done. And there's something for me, just for me, that is special and something that makes me feel good every time I can take my pen and scratch through something and say, hey, I got that done. Now listen, guys, hey, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell me how you organize your life. For me, it's these four things. It's my reminders app, it's my notes app, it's my calendar app, and it's my bullet journal. Now, maybe you've got some ways that, man, they're super effective in your life of keeping you organized. If that's so, do me a favor. Put it in the comments. Write down what it is that you do. Drop me a note. Say, hey, this is what I do to stay organized, because I need all the help I can get, and I know everyone listening does too. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, and make sure you like this video. Guys, we can't wait to see you next time. Check out our website. Any way we can help you grow, we'd like to.